Welcome to the Jordan River. We are here in a special day. That's where Jesus was baptized by John, and you can see here fortress or church now of Greek Orthodox of it. Epiphany, but it's different than the Catholic one, for example. But let's call it a phota, the big light, because from right now the picture is going to be clear. We will know exactly who is Jesus and what is duty in that word. The book of Acts actually defined that as being part of a group, be part of faith to Jesus. That is what we're going to do. If you are for Jesus, I'm almost sure that you already been baptized, but we are together in that video on that amazing day of the Greek Orthodox. We're gonna renew our vows. And the letter of Titus, the letter of St. Paul, we know that to be baptized is to be born again. All right. Now we actually know that the Jordan River, the place that Jesus was baptized, and he baptized here in Judea, very close to Jerusalem, at the Jordan River, at a place they call Bet Avra. We will talk about it soon. Then now we know that everyone will be baptized just like Jesus will be born again. But it's more than that. It's more than that. In the Romans chapter 6, we know that many of us were baptized into Jesus Christ, were baptized into his death. Then in that case, it's not only to be born again, it's first to die. He will take your sin, just like the Jordan River will do that today to so many disciples. Then, when we are celebrating the phota, Epiphany, we're actually celebrating not only the baptism of Jesus that happened here, we will celebrate his death, and we will celebrate his resurrection. And this is more than just a regular holiday. This is one of the 4 most important holidays for the Greek Orthodox, at least in the Holy Land. Now, before we will continue, I want you to see that everything that you see here is part of the Jordan Valley. At that side, which is now difficult to see, you can see the way to Jerusalem. Here you can see the Jordan Valley. The green area, it's the Jordan River, and we're going to visit it. The other side is Jordan, the country. For example, can you see let me show it to you. Yeah, now we can see the Golden Dome. The Golden Dome is not less than Jordan. This is St. John the Baptist Church, Greek Orthodox Church, at the other side. And we will talk about the other side too. Now, another thing that we actually study from the Byzantine time, the early of Christianity, the birth of Christianity, is that when Jesus entered to the water, he purified it. He purified it with his body. He took all the sins for the water from the time of the flood of Noah. Then in that case, today, at the end of the ceremony, when the Archbishop will throw the cross 3 times into the Jordan River, 3 times Trinity, the cross is actually Jesus, then the water will be so pure. And that will be the best time to renew your vows. Meanwhile, this is not a small hill, this is the bunker. Until the 80s, that used to be a borderline between Israel and Jordan. We are now in Israel, the other side, remember, is Jordan. Then it wasn't so easy to walk here. Everything here was covered with mines. And as you can see, a bunker. It was an army zone. It's a border between Israel and Jordan. Used to be very wide. It's not like crossing the border from US to Canada, or even US to Mexico. At the book of Joshua, we're going to the Old Testament, we actually know that the story of Moses and Joshua connected to that place. Then first of all, we're talking about lots of water. Moses crossed the Red Sea. In dry land. Joshua did it here too. He actually crossed from the other side, from Jordan side, to here in the dry land. But the most important for every Christian is the next time that someone entered into that water, and this is Jesus. At the beginning it was from Egypt to the desert, and from the desert to the free land, to the promised land, and now from this word to the next word. Deep, isn't it? It's not such a small thing. When I'm taking groups to here, and sadly last time that I took a group was more than 2 years ago because of the COVID. No tourists can still allowed to enter to Israel. Maybe they are allowed, but because of what's happening now with the new virus, no one dared to do that. The situation in Israel is not so easy. They had to check me before I enter, and they checked everyone to be sure that we do have the mask and we have the permit to go in. And thanks God for you. I do have a permit because this is the only way for me to go into so many Christian places and in the Holy Land. Then in that case, Moses reached the Jordan River but didn't cross it. Let me cross to the other side and let me show you up there, up the hill. That is Mount Nebo. That is where Moses saw the promised land. Yehoshua, which is actually the same name of Jesus, but this is Yeshua, the son of Nun, Yeshua ben Nun, enter with the 12 tribes to here, and remember, that's the story of Jericho. The second one who entered to the water and disappeared was Elijah, that went up to the sky. And the next one who became the prophet was Elisha. Then Elisha was so strong in his duty. It was so famous. But for the Christians, there's another couple here, John the Baptist, who used to baptize people here, and Jesus was baptized. And one of the reasons that everyone thinks that that was at the other side, it's just like Moses and Elijah that crossed to the other side. We have to understand the transfer of authority, but it's like a restart, and this is the only water deal. Restart the word. Just let me show you that they still have some mines here. Dan, if it's okay by you, don't cross the fences. I know that you cannot, but I can, but I won't do it. I won't do that for you. And it is, let me take a better picture of it. Another tradition that started in the Byzantine time is when the patriarch threw the cross into the water, and the cross is Jesus. And remember, the rest enter through the dry land. Then just for a minute, the water would go backward. If the water goes all the way to the Dead Sea, at that moment, the water will go back through the Sea of Galilee. Now, if you won't see it, it means that you are not a believer. Then in that case, most of you will see it, I'm sure. מה זה? לא, תודה, יש לי מספיק חומר. תודה, תודה. I don't know what he wants to sell to me, but every gram that I put in my bag is heavy, and I don't need anything else. Oh, crosses. Well, thank you. All the Greek Orthodox items. The candles are very important, but I do have here 2 crosses that I'm going to bless in the water for 2 of you, and you still don't know who. The book of Mark, which we believe that was the oldest book, we know that Jesus was baptized by John in the Jordan. We don't know where. We just know that it was here in the Jordan. And when he went up to the water, the Holy Spirit in the shape of a dove. They didn't actually say that was a dove, but only like a feeling of a dove. You can actually feel it, but you could hear the voice of God. And this is an opening start. This is something so special. Now, that used to be a dormitory of the Greek Orthodox. Sadly, in 1967, it became to be a war zone, or at least a border zone, and you can see the signs of the mines. The Israelis actually promised to take all those crosses, all those mines, but it's actually happening slowly. It took a lot, but still a lot is, as you can see here. Then, remember, we are not crossing any part of the border. And then let me take a picture for you. And you can see the sign of the mines. But if it's okay by you, I'm not going in. But in Mark, you can actually see for the first time the Trinity by itself. You could hear the voice of God. You saw the sky open. You could see the Holy Spirit. And the most important thing here in that part, you can actually see Jesus. And you realize that this is the Son of God. That is an Israeli group with Israeli tour guide. They here to see something different. But I'm here to show you something different too. Let's cross to the other side. And you can see that there's another dormitory. This time it belongs to the Catholic. And the idea of the danger mines are still here. We are walking together just like Jesus walked into the Jordan River. Then the Trinity was here for the first time. God was in the sky, you can hear him. The Holy Spirit is sending down, and Jesus, Son of God, you can actually touch him. He touched the people. Now we know that Jesus' baptism it actually appears in all the 4 Gospels, but there are differences. For example, in Matthew, we know that John wasn't as dominated as before, as in Mark, he came to Jesus and say, you don't need to do that. It's only for sinners. But Jesus said, this is my mission, and I need to do that because the rest will follow. And John the Baptist gave up. In the book of John, John the Baptist was there, but he was only a witness for it. The book never mentioned that he did it that John the Baptist baptized Jesus, but he said something very important. This is the Lamb of God, which is now well known in so many Christians. You can find the Agnus Dei in most of the churches. In Luke, in some of my groups, I'm not even mentioned what's happening in Luke, because something is missing in the book of Luke. And what's missing there is John. John wasn't there. John was already dead when Jesus was baptized, according to the book of John. But there, we know that he was baptized with all the people, and there we know that the Holy Spirit, as a dove, appeared. And this is one of the reasons, and I hope that we will see it today, that you will see a lot of white, beautiful pigeons in the air today. Now the Gospel of John deals with water from the beginning till the end, because the water's got a very important significance. The water turned into wine at the beginning of John. At the end, the water, the blood, and the water will go out from the body of Jesus. Red like wine. Another thing that we know is that Jesus was baptized. Now we know the name of it. It's called Bethania in Hebrew, at the other side of Jordan, and later on they call it Bet Avra. Bet Avra, Aramite in Hebrew, the house at the other side, or crossing area. We know that it was in the desert because some of the Christians believed that it was in a different place or different places. I'm not going into another subject, but we know that Jesus was actually baptized people in the Jordan River as well, and we know that John the Baptist baptized people in a different place later on. I know that in the book of John chapter 4, the Pharisees heard a rumor that Jesus baptized people, but a sentence later on they say that it's not him, it's his disciples. Jesus left Judea and went all the way back to the Galilee, and he met a Samaritan woman. Yes, this is so important for the occasion today. He asked for water, and he tells later on the lady that he is the living water. Everyone who will drink from his water will never be thirsty again. Ta-da-da. Jesus is the water, and you're reborn. Very important occasion. Happens just after Jesus left that area that we are now visiting. Today it's called Qasr al-Yahud, and Qasr al-Yahud is a name in Arabic, and it means the castle of the Jews. That Samaritan lady, the Greek Orthodox call it Fatima, the one who's lighted. And again, Feast of Lights. Chapter 3, John mentioned that Jesus baptized people together with his disciples. Then, remember John the Baptist, baptized in a different place. Later on, Jesus did it right here. From the 4th century, we do have 4 important holidays. Easter, Pascha, obvious. Pentecost, obvious, it's in the Bible. But at the 4th century, we are adding 2 more holidays. The one is the finding of the true cross, and the other one, and the most important one, is that one. The one that we are visiting it today, the Epiphania. Kyrilius, which was the patriarch of Jerusalem, mentioned and actually says something that I really love. He said that the beginning of the word was the water. The beginning of Christianity was the Jordan River. And now the Jordan River is so close, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see it, but I will do it for you. I'll put my mask on. Here it is. This is the Jordan River. I know that's how we actually thought it's going to be like the Thames on the Mississippi, but it's not. Because it was rainy a few days ago, and you can see that it's a little bit muddy. The other side of the Jordan River is Jordan, and today for the occasion they added some flags of Jordan, but there's no wind. You can see one of them is right there. But there's a lot of them all around. And Jordan is there, Israel is right here. To enter to the water, it's not going to be easy. Let me take you to another place to see the Jordan River from there. I can see that I can. The feeling here is so because we are missing someone. I'm not talking about John the Baptist of Jesus. I'm talking about the tourist. There are no tourists here. What you see here is mainly Israelis and Palestinians. A lot of them are Jews, just to see what's happening here, and a lot of them are Greek Orthodox. The Greek Orthodox called it baptism, well, everyone did, and Puritanism as well, the idea of enlightening. Now we can see that they are wearing special clothes, and because we know that Jesus, to be baptized is to die and to be born again, a lot of them will wear those clothes when they will die, because it's to die and to be born again. Let's just go in. Soon it will be too difficult to enter. And here it is, another angle of. See the Israeli side, we are there. See the Israeli flag. And you can see the Jordanian flag. And the other side is soldiers. At that side, the Greek Orthodox. They will be here again for the ceremony. It's going to be a beautiful ceremony. Jordan River. How beautiful it is. Today we will see a lot of the Christians entering not only with those clothes, they will enter with a candle, because it's the feast of light. And it's not only the feast of light, it's more than that. They conquered by here the darkness. Some people actually believe that The birth of Jesus started 4 weeks before, and the 12 days after he was born are really, 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 really scary days. It's the big, big darkness. Demons were here. I mean, Shakespeare actually had a beautiful show about it. He talks about the 12 nights. Then, just after today, the big light will be here for sure for the rest of the year. And I must tell you something. Yesterday it was raining. Today it's sunny. It's really sunny. I don't need even to wear a coat. It's beautiful, beautiful just like that. Magnificent. Holy. Tonight it's supposed to rain, heavily rain, and it might even snow in Jerusalem. But the big light is right in front of you. Jesus will appear in the shape of a cross, and he will take all the dirt, the humanity's sins, and he will restart it again. Then this is an amazing idea, that restart of the word by believing in Jesus, by being baptized. And after the ceremony, you will see a lot of the Greek Orthodox carrying bottles, and they will fill it with holy water from the Jordan River. Now, we can do that everywhere, but this is the place. The water will purify every sin in the world. Now, what left for us to wait now is for the beginning of the ceremony, and I want to be with them. Then that will be in my third video. If you like that video, please subscribe that channel, my YouTube channel. Subscribe me. I deserve it. And in the description, you will have some options how to connect with me. Instagram, Facebook, but use the professional ones because they are in English. And my email. You can write me whatever you want, even through YouTube. Then thank you very much. Now we know everything about that holiday. Bye bye. Happy Epiphania. Happy Tafota.